Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Varnhold's Lot with me, Bring It Done.
Time's not waiting.
So I figured out the crystal puzzle. It took quite a bit of trial and error, but I managed. Alright, so you want to start with this, I'm sorry, the bottom
All
left corner.
according to plan.
So I have to get ahead of myself. Then you want to do the one that's all the way to the west here. The north crystal. You do the center, the southeast crystal. Then you want to do the southwest crystal. Oh, lost track. No, alright, we have to go up here. Northwest. Let's see, what number am I on? Alright, I think it's this one next. Oh boy. Yeah, I definitely lost track. Then this should be 9. 10?
Interesting.
Yep. Alright, cool. I don't know what the reward is yet. I reloaded as soon as I figured it out. But, a Wand of Heal. Ooh. A helmet. Headband of Mental Perfection. Ooh. That's always a treat. I'm going to give it to my main character. Though... he only has +2. It might be better off on him. Or it would be better off on him because it would increase his perception. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to him. For the sake of perception. Alright, now let's get out of here. Head back to Varnhold. As so far as the Wand of Heal goes. What else does he have? Okay. So 120 experience is pretty good. I'll take it. No, I'm fine with. I'll take some of it. Alright. Stuff that sells for 50. The stuff that is worth more than it weighs.
Wonderful. Now the centaur barbarians have added themselves to our already too long list of problems. We'd best order long pikes for the infantry and beef up the fortifications.
Or we could avoid fighting them and save the money for something more urgent than battling barbarians.
I believe we should set up a camp for the night.
Alright, random encounter.
That is not far.
I'll take care of it.
Well, good, I got it off before,
Stand with me.
Yeah, sure. Everybody,
This
charge
should do
in.
it.
We'll get a haste off.
On your knees!
Sweet. Willas Gunderson. The man you just saved catches his breath and smiles brightly, as if he hadn't just been zigzagging away from his pursuers. His clothing and equipment are an odd mix of quality, durable items, and pompous decorative elements. Even his shirt seems cut especially to provide an unobstructed view of his chest, which is adorned with 2 golden chains. Baron Varn, your grace. What fortune meeting you here? Until now, I've met only unpleasant guests on my morning escapades. Mygar smiles warmly at the stranger and extends his hand in friendship as to an equal. He also stands in such a way as to capture the stranger's attention while not blocking your view or Cephal's. Greetings, and you are? Willas Gunderson, your grace. Apparently flattered by the attention, the peculiar man strikes a proud pose. Scientist, traveler, and researcher of antiquities, at your service. It is a pleasure to see that my barony attracts such educated people. It is most regrettable that they must face such difficulties. Mygar nods towards the dead, now entirely dead, Cyclops. Where did that creature come from? I have no idea. Willas's voice seems tranquil. I was enjoying the view and taking notes when an ill-mannered simpleton stepped into my light. I politely asked him to step aside and allow me to finish, but he wouldn't listen. When I turned around, I knew he couldn't have, for zombies have as much reason as manners. Look closer at the traveler. While Mygar entertains the traveler in conversation, you carefully examine his gear and clothes, which is funny because Mygar was the one that passed the perception check. The first thing that strikes your attention is an intricate yellowish jade bracelet on his wrist. You can tell by his ragged state that Willas has been on the road for at least a few days, and indeed, from all appearances, mostly off-road. Let's see. Yeah, try to determine the origin of the bracelet. The bracelet looks carved of a whole piece of jade, of unusual hue. Even from a distance you can see the patterns that decorate it, obviously signs of the relic's origin. This item came from the ancient Cyclops Empire, but what is it doing here, and how did this hapless traveler acquire it? Well, now this Cyclops is much more polite, isn't he? Mygar falls quiet for a moment, allowing you to add a few words to the conversation. Yeah, so my friend, why don't you tell us about that bracelet you're wearing? You wouldn't lie to the Baron and his men, would you? Someone is conducting a bit of a theater. Cephal mumbles, drawing a sneer from Mygar. The joyful mood drops from Gunderson's face. He looks at you for askance and fiddles with his bracelet hesitantly. The snake neck is my latest find. I found it on the river shore. It would seem that the water washed it out of some kind of ancient burial mound. No doubt it is very ancient and may have serious scientific value. I haven't dated it precisely yet. You must understand such things take time, but I swear, Desna herself guided my hand. Mygar approaches and pats the lad on the shoulder, gently taking the bracelet from Willas's hands before he can object. This is quite interesting. The barony doesn't yet boast its scientific achievements, but I think we can find a specialist who should be able to determine the bracelet's origin. If this is a precious item, your efforts in finding it will be generously rewarded. Here, take this as an advance. He takes a purse from his belt and hands it to Willas. Oh, where did you say you found it? By the river. Willas seems taken aback by the expropriation of the bracelet, but regains his smile when he feels the weight of the purse he's just been handed. I'm only happy to help in any way I can, Baron Varn. With your connections, we'll surely discover the origin of this find. Meanwhile, I may employ my time on something just as useful. Did you know that besides scientific articles, I also write fiction? And I cannot pass up the opportunity to write about the exploits of the Varnling host, and chronicle your first steps as a baron. You wouldn't mind, would you? Alright, so that's the unidentified writer from our introduction. So long as they don't ask me to sit for a portrait, Mygar laughs infectiously. I was born to a noble family, so my childhood was wasted on sitting with my mother and brothers for a train of grand portraits. I was only spared the torture after I covered my waistcoat in tar and lit my petty feather beret on fire. As long as you'll spare me such torments, Willas, I don't mind what you do. You should find some place to sell in Varnhold and get to work. I'll send word when I receive news about the bracelet. As you wish, your grace. It was a pleasure dealing with you. Willas Gunderson hurries off in the direction of Varnhold, which is where we should be heading as well. Mygar follows him with his eyes for a time, then scoffs. That went well. Of course the lad is lying through his teeth. We got more from him than we might have hoped. Varn looks pensively at the bracelet. Why did you invite this Gunderson to Varnhold anyway? Do we really need even more foolish treasure hunters in this backwater? My mercenary gut. 9 times out of 10, when my gut tells me to keep my eyes peeled, the situation is about to get bad. Of course, it's always the 10th time, and my gut is merely predicting a severe hangover. I don't think that's the case this time. Mygar frowns for a moment. Maybe Gunderson really is just a charming chatterbox, and he ran into that dead Cyclops by accident. And maybe this bracelet is maybe this bracelet is a simple piece of jewelry. But something in this story doesn't sit right. I suspect that Gunderson lied about finding it by the river. He'd clearly been wandering for days, through dungeons by the look of him. Ha! Didn't I tell you, Cephal? There's something wrong here. The bracelet is an ancient Cyclops relic. It doesn't take a specialist to see that. I agree. Perhaps we should find a Cyclops treasure around the corner. This does not alter the fact that our leader continues to leap at every shadow and makes a fool of himself for randomly passing strangers, instead of focusing on important matters, such as engaging on the barony's politics. The lad finds an ancient Cyclops relic in a dungeon, runs out with a zombie Cyclops at his heels. I see no mystery in what happened here. A keen nose and an eagle eye. My guard pats you on the shoulder in approval. I hope that dead Cyclops is the only thing that crawled out of wherever the lad stole this bracelet. What a story. We've hardly solved their problems with centaurs, we've already got a whole new riddle. And a personal chronicler along with it. We should look more closely at his paltry rhymes. Cephal, take the bracelet and see what you can make of it. Duval, keep an eye on our new friend. Visit him in Varnhold when you have the time. Maybe you'll manage to pry something else out of him. That's it. Let's move. Alright. Let's explore through here real quick, of course.
To battle and victory!
A calculated risk.
This will hurt!
Believe in yourselves!
Oh, that's not going to do any good if he's immune to that.
Attack!
Oh, you should be using Jolt. What are you doing?
I am sorry to disappoint you, friends.
I like how you guys are not even trying to hit this guy.
You shall pay. Forgive me.
Man, skeletons are messing us up. More treasures.
We should move.
I'm glad I decided to explore it and treat this as just a another random encounter. Alright, we can get rid of some of this crap now. Which is always a good idea.
As it should be.
Still heavily encumbered, but honestly I'm okay with that. Because we'll make some money when we get back to Varnhold eventually.
Shall we move?
We shall.
Alright, haste did not help a whole lot there. How disappointing.
Over here, have a look.
There we go.
I was successful in my search.
Feather step. I wonder if that's ever going to be useful. I always ignore difficult terrain in this game. I would actually remember difficult terrain being a thing. Maybe the Sycamore Caves? I can't quick save here. Because it's all scripted. Oh boy. One moment. Now you, my dear readers, have finally learned how I, Willas Gunderson, author of this tale, first entered the acquaintance of Baron Varn and his companions. But as much as I would like to delve into this remarkable meeting, I must remind myself that by no means am I the main character of this book. Perhaps one day it will occur to Baron Varn or the General to mention me in their memoirs, for surely our encounter must have made an impression upon them as well. As fate would have it, the party has another adventure before returning to Varnhold. Having decided to take a shortcut, they find themselves in an area with strange furrows which crisscross the ground here and there. Baron Varn and his companions are cautious and approach unnoticed as a young centaur whoops and leaps from one furrow to another. After a moment, Baron Varn prepares to call out to the creature. Cephal tries to stop him, but then the general nods and the Baron calls out in his bold voice, drawing the centaur's attention. The call comes just in the nick of time. The centaur freezes and turns towards the party. At that very same moment, the jaws of a great monster emerge up from the earth, right where the centaur would have stepped, should he have continued on his way. With barely a glance, the seasoned Varling host recognizes the monster as a bullet, a sleek predator which attacks its prey from under the ground. Baron Varn takes up his sword steadfastly, set on settling the matter himself. A general touches the Baron on the sleeve and quickly whispers his plan. He suggests that they approach the monster silently, rather than rush at it full speed. Reasoning that such a subterranean monster is unlikely to rely on its vision, the warriors of the Varling host move silently forward, dancing from one boulder to the next, careful never to touch the soil. The general's plan is a success, and they are able to approach the monster undetected. As they draw near, the warriors strike in unison, throwing all their might into a single precise and deadly attack. The wounded beast roars and tries to escape under the ground. The general and the Baron exchange glances and nod silently and attack the beast with a finishing blow. Could this monster withstand the united attack of these battle-hardened comrades? The answer could be both a decisive no. With a second blow, it roars one final time, and then its lifeless flesh sinks into the ground. Another glorious victory for the Varling host. Bullet, bones, plate, and diamond dust 11. Cool. The general and the Baron eye the battlefield. The young centaur approaches the party hesitantly. His young face glows with boundless gratitude, but its curiosity is tinged with fear. Baron Varn greets the boy and strikes up a conversation. Cephal, mumbling something about reckless risks for questionable purposes, approaches the beast's lifeless corpse and starts performing some calculations. Meanwhile, the general decides that it is the perfect moment to learn more about centaurs. The centaur says his name is Royko, but it sounds more like a nickname than a real one. He is manifestly stunned by the courage of Baron Varn and his people. He hesitantly prepares to go on his way, explaining that the tribe would soon notice his absence, and that he might be punished for talking to the two-legged. The general delicately manages to get some further information from him. For the most part, it only amounts to what the team already knows. They learn that the centaur belongs to the Noman tribe, and their leader is one Akora Silverfire. The name Royko speaks with a fiery awe of youth. The Noman centaurs consider themselves guardians of this land, and stand ready to defend it from any invasion. Royko also tells them, with a sigh, that the tribe is very small, unlike in the olden days. War and disaster has taken their toll, and the other tribes no longer want to deal with the Noman. Royko's words make it seem as though the other centaur tribes consider his own tribe's people a little mad. Saying warm goodbyes to the young centaur, Baron Varn nods, content with his own thoughts, and leads the party on to Varnhold.
I do not like that Gunderson, even if he is not a spy. And mind you, I still have my doubts. Vagabonds like him always bring trouble.
I can't keep all the vagabonds from breaking their necks in the ruins. At least if he finds something interesting, he'll bring it to us, not Brevoy.
A little sad that they didn't have voice acting on the way to the City of Hollow Eyes, but that's fine. I'm just being a little nitpicky. All your characters are fatigued. Yeah. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter here since we're about to rest in the capital. Or sorry, in Varnhold. It's not my capital. After a daring raid into the lands of the wild centaurs, Baron Varn and his companions returned home, and I, Willas Gunderson, had the honor of accompanying them. The time of peace has come at last. Varnhold greets one serene dawn after another, but in this dark land, I dread to think what awaits us. As security approaches Varn, a wince crosses her grim face, but she speaks not a word, and instead hands him a document.
Aha! I see you've included everything, just as I asked. Thank you, Kiadi.
Myger glances over the document and his face brightens.
Magar, what does this mean? Tell me, what am I to make of this?
Cephal snatches the document from Varn's hands. As he reads it, the old wizard's eyes nearly pop out of his head.
I sent some much-needed aid to our neighbors in the Shrike Hills. They're our only possible allies in the coming carnage. Cephal, I know your opinion, but be realistic. The Aldori are not our friends. We can't count on them for help if something happens. We're expendable.
You will not preach realism to me, you naive boy. Yes, we are bargaining chips to them. That is exactly what I'm basing my politics on. A delicate contraption which you are smashing to bits. War will come to Brevoy, even you can see that. But as long as it hasn't yet begun, it can scarcely do better than pretending to be the Eldori's most loyal vassals.
Cephal, you're not making any sense. Yeah, you're both wrong. The Eldori are noble. An alliance with them would ensure our common prosperity.
They are noble, it's true. But it's the nobility of Brevoy's aristocracy. Whether they're Isian or Rostlandic, they don't welcome outsiders into their fold. I'm sorry to shatter your dreams of triumphant Eldori knights, my friend. But take this for a fact. Our lives are nothing to them.
Well said, Magar. But if you understand this, then why not take the next logical step? Listen to me carefully, you three. Yes, Gary, this involves you too. Things are looking bad. First, the land here is fertile, but its most bountiful crop is Cyclopes' graves. Second, it shares a border with the Obaria, well known for its epidemics. Gods forbid the wind carries the next plague here. Settlers are reluctant to come here as it is. I can scarcely blame them. Do not become too attached to Varnhold. This is but a stepping stone. Our real prize lies to the west. But what does Varn do? He sends them gifts. Better to send them assassins. Without their baron, the Shrike Hills would descend into a struggle for power, and Silverstep and the Canelands would fall to us soon after.
Such villainy!
Do not interrupt your regent, Varn, or relieve me of the position this instant. Now, what is the most important thing here? The Eldori are afraid of unleashing war. They know that if they tried to separate from Brevoy without some kind of outside support, the Sotova would crush them. So, we must convince them that we are their most loyal allies. We will stoke the Eldori into an uprising. When the unrest picks up, we shall strike them in the back and make them fight on two fronts.
Man, Cephal is, ruthless.
While you, your grace, were drinking wine at the feast, I was busy acquiring a map of Nivatka's Crossing. Look at these fortifications. If we could seize this town, we'd win a significant piece of Brevik land along with it. After we've assisted the Sotova in hanging the Eldori on the gates, they will allow us to keep part of what we have seized as reward. Then we will have peace and prosperity.
Get out of my sight, Cephal. Get out! Never would the name of Magar Varn be tarred with such abominable villainy. It never happened while I was leader of a mercenary party, and won't happen now that I'm Baron.
Great Asmodeus, what did I do to deserve this punishment? Why do I deal with you at all? I should have taken my share and retired a long time ago. I'll be off somewhere soon enough. To Absalom or Cheliax. I shall read books on the porch and drink wine, while you do whatever you want. Burn the city down and get yourself killed.
Oh, sorry.
See me later. We need to talk.
As the old wizard storms off in a rage, you hear a magical whisper. He wants to talk later. I guess over there in the corner will suffice.
I can't believe my ears. Must the history of our country begin with such villainy? Oh, Cephal. Cephal. Well. Let the old devil cool off. I'll talk to him later. Is that all, Kiadi?
The dwarf shrugs and hands him another paper. Why isn't she talking?
I see. So, we've got a revolutionary from Galt on our hands. A tavern keeper writes us. She saw the revolutionary walking around, stirring up the people for an uprising. Well, you're the general. You go and deal with it. Talk to the tavern keeper. Find out where to look for this instigator. Well, far be it from me to teach you how to do your job. When you finish, report back to me. By the gods, what a worry. Uprisings, intrigues, these damn letters. That Gunderson and his bracelet. And the Baron has to see to all of that, and listen to everyone's complaints while he's at it. What a nuisance.
Mygar leaves in a cloud of curses. Oh, excuse me. Alright, let's talk to Mygar first. So, did you handle those troublemakers? On top of everything else, an uprising is just what we need. After the quarrel with Cephal, you mentioned some letters that gave you a headache. You mind if I ask what that's about? I received the letter with some threats. You do know how letters with threats make me laugh. Ha ha ha. Mygar doesn't laugh, but suddenly articulates each ha, emphasizing his dark mood. As if this whole government headache wasn't enough, now there's another contender for Brevoy, scheme for their own piece of pie. Scheming for their own piece of pie, I think. I wonder why he dislikes the alliance between Varnhold and the Barony of Strike Hills. Here, read it if you like. I'm not certain of the author, but I can make a guess. A few years ago, the mother of this little rat hired us to find him, remember? The moment we met him, I wanted to tie him to a tree in the forest and leave overnight just to teach him a lesson. If he wasn't heir to one of the great houses of Brevoy, I would have done just that. Maybe something good would have come of the little rat. I think he's talking about Lander, because I had Lander as my regent. So the letters that we found when we came to Varnhold the first time were from Lander threatening man. That's cool, I like how that ties in. Anyway, what can you say of Willas Gunderson? What does your mercenary gut tell you? Gunderson himself doesn't bother me. It can't hurt to have him in the barony. We still don't have much entertainment here, and that lad is a free circus show for anyone who cares to watch. But that bracelet, you know I sent scouts to retrace Gunderson's steps, and they couldn't find any sign of him. That's one hell of a location. Hills, mountains, gorges, and 1,000 caves. If he lied about where he found it, we'll be looking for its true origin for years, and I don't like it. I know about a dozen unhappy stories that begin with an unknown ancient relic suddenly appeared. That's why I'm writing our western neighbor in the Strike Hills. Maybe they have a good sorcerer or historian who can help us puzzle out what this bracelet is. I have to go. Things to do. He's actually a very competent ruler, at least so far. So long, my friend. Come back soon, either on business or just to chat over a cup of wine. Yeah, he seems very competent. I'm actually... Because it doesn't really show it in the main campaign. I mean, kind of. I mean, he sends you supplies and stuff to your kingdom and barony, and but, like, he gets, captured. Like, you don't see him very often, except for when you rescue him from the Cyclops. I don't remember his name now. Son of a gun. Anyway, let's talk to Cephal. He wanted to talk. Oh, that Mygar. I'm so angry with him. Why do I still bother? I should have left the party after that idiocy in Usterlov, or at least after the debacle in Mivon. If I had any sense, I would never have gotten involved at all. What do you think about this Gunderson? I cannot see any point in keeping that loafer at the capital. To hear him singing about his questionable feats at the tavern, and flirting with anything that moves. People like him can be helpful, out there in the ruins, where they crawl around discovering interesting facts and useful items. I'd give him a half-empty purse, perhaps even a bit of magical gear, and send him back out on the road. If fortune favored him, he might return with something interesting. If not, then good riddance. And that bracelet he scrounged up is in fact quite interesting itself. It's not magical, no, but it may point to an ancient Cyclops treasure, and riches worth far more than gold. I like to show this artifact to a knowledgeable historian, but where are we to find one in this backwater? You wanted to talk about something. Yes, that puffed up fool Varn is destroying this barony faster than we can build it. An alliance with our western neighbor is madness, and now he's sending them gifts. He takes resources we work so hard to obtain, and which are so scarce around here, and gives them away freely to our principal adversary. You often back me in arguments. Mygar respects your opinion. Perhaps together we can talk some sense into him. Maybe it really is better that I retire. Why should I stand watch as everything I have built these many years crumbles to ruin? I know not what to do with him, or even how to talk to him. Tell me, what do you think of all this madness? No, yeah, Lady Jamani wants to use us, but she makes no secret of her intentions. She's a good ally, and having a free Rosalind as a neighbor is in our interests. Rosalind's freedom will be bought with our lives. Yes, Jamani does not dissemble. She admits that she grows our baronies for the coming bloodbath. Alliance with her is possible, but only on her terms, and it will cost us everything we can ever create here. We enter the civil war between Roslin and Isia. Only tattered pieces of Varnhold will remain. We will never be free of the victor's power, whoever that may be. I have to go. Yes, you and I are both busy people now. What a joke. To be advisors to a baron who is doing everything in his power to destroy his own state. Did someone level up? She's leveled up a couple times. By the way, she is an invulnerable rager. Yeah. I don't know if I'm actually going to keep her around, if I'll just get rid of her. Except I think she might be a drain on our resources. Alright, let me go to the merchant, take care of some stuff. In the next episode, we might go back around Varnhold, see what's going on, and then we'll investigate with the tavern keeper about the Galt revolutionaries. I do really like this artwork. It's not my favorite. I'll talk to Ignash later.
Follow my lead.
And actually, yeah, this wizard artwork is one of my favorites in the game. This one's pretty good, though his like the armor and shield and stuff looks a little flat. This one's really good as well. I don't know, most of the art in the game is really good. There's a couple that I'm not a fan of, but for the most part, they're all really good. So how are we doing? The barony in ruins yet? I need the help of a priest. Why does the father of creation still tinker with us fools? Mark my words, someday his patience will end, and then all of us will be finished. Fine, you can buy a scroll. Buy any scroll you need from me. I'll read it. Just don't imagine I'm going to run after you outside the city. Man. When you go off on the march, you'd best take a cleric with you. Oh, cool. So I can take them with me whenever I want. I wonder if they level up with me as well. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Shouldn't need anything from this. Don't need these. Don't need daggers either. Alright. So what do I need? Honestly, I'd rather just give him bracers of armor. Get rid of the actual armor. Let's see. Not what I meant to do. Alright, what do we got here? Oh, it'd be under accessories. Braces of armor +3. Could actually be losing armor with that, I think. I'm still tempted. Because at the very least, our wizards could use a couple of these. We can only afford one. He only has one anyway. Nope, he has 7. What? Oh, it weighs 1. We'll hold off on that for now. Who needs weapons? What does he have? Alright, everyone that needs a weapon is actually good. So, well, let's take a gander. Everyone's got heavy shields +1, right? Yep. He's got full plate +1. What do you got? Scale mail +1. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess there's nothing I really need to buy. Maybe scrolls? Raised Dead. There's no Raised Dead scrolls. Well, that sucks. Oh, no Raised Dead scrolls. Okay. Well, I'm going to call the episode here, I think. Let me double check the time. Yeah, I'm going to call it here. Off camera, I might see what these companions are capable of. And see if they're level 6 as well. So I wonder if they're going to have any dialogue. Probably not, since I can't even talk to them now. I don't know, but I'll look into it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Up to see y'all in the next episode.